Cha cha cha.
Sorry, I'm getting hyped, getting pumped. Pow Block.
Yes.
Woo. Okay, here we go. What's up, nerds? Welcome to Nintendo Pow Block for January 30th, 2018. Whoa, I almost said 2017. Wow, that's bad. I am one of your hosts, Corey Dirrig, and alongside me, as always, that retro code, Edward Varnell.
Why can't Cuckoo Land get a sequel and be almost like Smash Brothers for Wii U?
Oh my gosh, nobody wants Cuckoo Land.
Hi, everybody.
This is the second week in a row you've said something ridiculous.
Well, can't be more ridiculous than me saying on Twitter how biased I am that I think Smash Brothers on Wii U 8-player is better than PUBG and all together.
Well, probably not wrong. Not gonna lie.
Dude, I was watching Game Informer's test chamber when they was doing the 8-player Smash, and I was just falling out laughing. I was just like, oh, this is why this game is just still amazing.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait for Smash. I'm actually like, I'm ready for all this stuff, man. I'm ready for the influx of Nintendo games coming in. You know.
Yes.
Because I'm gonna be playing a lot more handheld games in the next, coming months. So, anyways, Ed, I'm excited to tell you about something. The biggest news story of the year. Shaq Food's getting a physical release on April 3rd. Biggest news story of the year. Close out E3. Cancel Christmas. I don't care what you have to do. Shaq Fu, April 3rd. Physical release. Power-ups named after Shaq's many nicknames in the NBA. Let me tell you. The Big Aristotle. The Big O. I'm just telling you, man. Diesel. Yes. I'm so excited.
A mess.
Ed hates it when I talk about Shaq Fu, and that's why I love talking about it.
It's a mess.
Ed, what if I made a t-shirt, a Shaq Fu t-shirt, but it was Ed Fu and Corey Fu? Hacha. Oh, man. Ed, what have you been playing? Because I have a lot to talk about, but...
Well, I finished Uncharted 4: The Lost Legacy. Played that in 2 days. It's 8 hours worth. It's a good game. Has some problems with it. It's an Uncharted game. I did enjoy it. I actually like Chloe and the thing. I actually like them together on this adventure.
I can't wait for that clip to be taken out of context. I have some problems with it. Wow. It's an Uncharted game.
It's just like but I actually like Nadine and Chloe. I like their relationship and a little bit about the story. I actually like the villain in this one. I thought that this was like probably one of Uncharted's best villains in the whole series. So really like that. Still beautiful as always.
Which on that point, we might talk about a little bit later, and maybe not on this show, but I think we're going to talk about it on Arsenal X. That villain, like, I don't want to spoil Uncharted Lost Legacy for people who haven't played it, but that villain excites me because that director just went to Crystal Dynamics to work on the Avengers game.
Yes, and we were. I just seen that news story, and I was just like, "Dang, Square Enix is making their like own Avengers."
I know they're making the Avengers of game development to make an Avengers game.
Shoot, I'm not mad. I mean, like if. And I might actually have to revisit this. Hopefully for like expansion pack, like developers coming together to make like that awesome game, like they did for Chrono Trigger. Mm-hmm. I think like Yuji Naka, the creator of Dragon Ball, like they all came together and made Chrono Trigger. And I think there's probably other games like that. There are different developers. They came together to make one awesome game. I'm going to have to do some research about that. But yeah, really good. Jumping into Yakuza 0, just having a ball with that. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 for Switch, just loving that game. My goal now is to get to level 80 before I finish the game. So I'm gonna put a lot of grinding, do a lot of side quests, and see if I can find a lot of blades in that game. I feel like there's just tons of them, and I just cannot wait to play to figure it out.
I need to get back to that. I was really excited for Xenoblade, and I've only played about like 4 or 5 hours of it.
Yeah, Fire Emblem Warriors. I'm planning on to get back into. I was just thinking about it. I'm just like, I need to finish this game. I've been talking about it, and Corey knows a little bit about his surprise. So hopefully, I will get that surprise to you a little bit later.
So much
this week.
I hate when you do this to me.
Well, you already know it, so
I know.
I know.
Ed's just like the super nice guy, and I always feel bad.
No. Do you want to reveal what you got in the mail right away?
Yeah. Okay. So last week, Ed decides to send me a gift, and it's the where are they? They're in the other room. Crap. But they're like they're not Legos, but they're kind of like Legos. They're like the Pokemon, and they're all. It's Charmander.
The Mega Blocks.
Yeah, the Mega Blocks. And it's Charmander, Charmeleon, and Charizard. And I'm freaking out because they're amazing. And a $10 eShop gift card, and it makes me want to slap you and hug you at the same time. Which you might be into, but that's not the point.
Hey! Well, that is true. But...
You're gonna get yours. You're gonna get yours.
Yeah, I was kind of nervous because I shipped it up. Like, where's this gift at? This thing is not here. It's supposed to be at the house. Because if everybody know that my original plan was to send him the physical copy of Snipper Clips, but when I found out that he bought it, I had already bought the game. Of course I'm keeping the physical. I'm like, I got to keep this game. Said I was gonna buy it. I had to change up my gift, so I knew we had a discussion about Pokemon, and I knew that he said that Charizard and Charmander, like that fire starter, was his main Pokemon. So I was just like, you know what, it'd be cool to get him this, and then I was just like, well, I had to up the ante because on how. I bless Jesse with Wolfenstein 2, and then I kind of just like, they would get Corey around the same price and stuff, or add up to that amount, and so the $10 card like helped it jump to that price, and I was just like, he's gonna be mad, but hey, he could get another game and stuff. So Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah.
I know. I've been really bad. I've been really bad at Christmas this year, or last year, whatever. But yeah, man, and I love you so much, man. It just makes me happy and sad at the same time. Graceful Explosion Machine I've been playing for Switch. On the third world, getting a little bit further. Just really enjoying this arcade feel. Just like, yes, and there are parts that's kicking my tail, but it makes me want to replay that game more. And I think I haven't really touched it on the TV because I take it with my Switch me on the go just to play Graceful Explosion Machine, just to waste some time, and I get hooked, dude. I like literally get hooked on it. But last but not least, I announced to you guys that last episode that I picked up Lost Sphere. Actually started playing that game. Really good. It's a mix of I Am Setsuna and Chrono Trigger, and the battle system is almost like Chrono Trigger, but when you actually are chosen to do your action, you can move around to select what enemy that you want to hit. So right now I have 2 characters that do melee attacks and 2 characters that do long distance attacks. And the long distance attacks, you get like this red kind of line, and you can mix it up. And if you are able to move your character and get them lined up with enemies, you'll be able to attack those 2 or 3 enemies all in that line. So
and the Iron Setsuna part comes in where you get like this blue flash, and if you press the Y button at the right time, you could do extra damage, like a double hit. And it kind of like Iron Setsuna, you'll see like this white light, and if you press at the right time, you could do an extra hit. I haven't started grinding yet, because of the story just starting, but hopefully once I get more into the game, that I'll be able to grind and level up my characters and go from there. Great music, as normal. I will say that this makes me long for a Bravely Default, because it's giving me that feeling of it. Only thing that I can say bad about Lost Sphere is that it doesn't have a selection where you could defend. So it's kind of like you gotta take hits and lose energy, and it's just like I don't like that. Because of Bravely Default spoiling me, and definitely Project Octopath. I can't wait for that game to come out. But that's what I've been playing. Truly enjoyed it. Haven't touched my Xbox One because of playing games on PS4 and Switch. I kind of catching up on my backlog. And I am going to try to do something for PS4 and Xbox One, because I'm planning, like I said, on getting the Monster Hunter games. So I plan to work on those games when I get it. Last but not least, I've been playing Monster Hunter Stories also on 3DS to get further into that game. So just having fun with the games that I've been playing. Hopefully I can work on some more and get them beaten and out the way.
Nice.
Yes.
Let's see. I've been playing a lot. I've actually been playing some 3DS too.
Ooh, excuse me.
Let's see. What have I been playing? For Switch, I've been playing. Well, I'm going to start with 3DS because I have a lot to say about what I've been playing on Switch. So, 3DS, I've been playing Fire Emblem Awakening because I finished Fate's Birthright, and like I started playing Conquest, and then I was like, it's not really what I want. I don't want like the old school stuff where you don't get to grind, you don't get to overpower. You just kind of like go through and hope you win sometimes.
Yeah.
So I've been playing Awakening, and let me tell you, man, that game is a lot better than I think I realized. Because like when I first started playing Fire Emblem, Awakening was my first Fire Emblem that I really dug deep into. I have the one for GameCube. What is it? Radiant Dawn? Is that the GameCube one?
Yeah.
So like I have that one. And I played it, but I think when I was playing it, I didn't really understand how to play it. Like, I mean, I did, but I didn't really, like, fully get what it was. So, like, I stopped playing it and went back to Halo and Kingdom Hearts and whatever. But, man, Awakening is really good, man. Like, Awakening is, like, when I first started playing it, I don't think I appreciated it for what it was. But after I got so into Fates and was, like, really got into the minutia of like the battle system and pairing people up and the importance of pairing the right people together. Now that I'm going back to Awakening and seeing like kind of like the simplified version of that because it was more complex in Fates, like, man, Awakening is real good. I love that game. I love it so much.
I love the cast and I love the writing in that game.
I know. That's the only Fire Emblem game I have amiibo of too. So, yeah, man, Fire Emblem Awakening is really, really good. I've also been playing a little bit of Mario and Luigi Dream Team. I know probably like 6 months ago I said I started it, but I've been playing that a little bit recently too. And the comedy, the writing in those games is just really good. Like there was this one point, like in the whole game, Dream Team, the whole game, they're just ripping on Luigi the whole time because it's his dream, right? Because it's all about him falling asleep and like him dreaming of these battles and stuff. And like every time you get in there, it's like they're making fun of Luigi, and then when you get into the dream sequences, he's like the master because he knows he's always getting ripped on, and he just wants to be the man for once. And it's just really funny, man. I enjoy that game a lot. And I know people were down after Bowser's Inside Story, like this was the follow-up to Bowser's Inside Story, and I was like, no, man, this game's really good. You should be playing it. So, yeah, Dream Team's good. And then on Switch, I've been making my way through Super Meat Boy. I have A+ every level. I refuse to go to the next level until I A+ the level I'm on. Like, I refuse. And I've been playing I'm only on the third world, like the third or fourth level, but I've been playing for like 4 hours. And the levels are only like 10 to 15 seconds a piece. So like I refuse to move on until I beat it. And like I've been having the issue where my right Joy-Con on my gray set is starting to stick. The buttons are starting to stick, and I can't jump correctly with it. So I've been, not that I don't like my blue ones, but sometimes when I take my Switch out in public, I want to have the gray ones on because it looks like a sophisticated piece of technology and not a children's toy. Because I really want to look cool while I'm playing my Switch while I'm watching this piece of meat explode on my screen every 5 seconds. But yeah, man, I'm thinking about getting the replacement shell on Amazon that gives you the D-pad. And like, you know, I talked about it a little bit last time on the show where like I want to get a separate set of Joy-Cons and the replacement shell with the D-pad and the colored buttons and stuff. And I think it's time. I'm going to do it with this set just so I can I want to see what it looks like. And I'm not gonna keep the colored buttons on the replacement set. I think I'm gonna use the gray buttons in the Joy-Cons now.
Okay.
But we'll see. We'll see. I'll keep everybody updated. But then I've been playing a little bit of Blossom Tales. I like that game, but I've been distracted, Ed. I've been distracted by this little game called Celeste.
Yes.
And, you know, I want to get the word out about this game. It's on everything, so even if you are listening to this show and you don't have a Switch, you should be playing it somewhere. It's $20. It's a side-scrolling... It's if you like Super Meat Boy, you're going to love this game. Because it's essentially the same thing, except, like, imagine if Super Meat Boy, all the levels were connected to each other. It's really, really good. The art direction is really good. I love the mechanics of this game because it's precise. The only other game that has this precise controls, because like that's my one complaint about Super Meat Boy is Meat Boy feels a little floaty. This game, no floaty. It feels to the T like if you sped Super Mario 3 up. It feels like an old school Mario game if you just sped it up and added a dash mechanic. The controls are so tight and the level design is so smart, and like the collectibles, like maneuvering your way through like a screen I'm not to a point where it's super hard yet. I mean, it's hard, but it's not like super hard. But there's strawberries that you collect in this game. And the thing that makes each room hard is figuring out how to get that strawberry. And you're just like, you just see it floating and you're like, how do I get it? How can I use the mechanics that I've been given to get this strawberry? And that's what makes it tough. And you want to collect the strawberries because you don't want to end like, I thought I did a pretty thorough job of exploring the first world.
Mm-hmm.
And I collected 10 strawberries. No, there's 20 strawberries in the first world, and I was super thorough. I'm like, where are these strawberries at? Like, I'm gonna have to go back and get them. And then like in each world, you collect cassette tapes, which gives you a quote unquote B side of the level, which makes it harder. Like it's just the harder version of the level. It's similar to the negative world in Super Meat Boy. Man, dude, this game, like. If you don't like super hard platformers, I would still give it a try because I think the mechanics are so well done, and that even if you don't want to collect anything, if you just want to maneuver through the levels, like it's still worth it. It is really good. it might be. I was prepping, like, I'm making a list of the games that I think are worth talking about at Game of the Year discussion. This one's at the top of the list already. Like, it's already sitting at the top of the list. So, I mean, I know it's only January and it's only been like 3 weeks since the new year,
but it's that Resident Evil 4 effect. You know that it came out at the beginning of the year, and it stayed for Game of the Year discussion until the actual tour is actually awarded. So it has a place for that discussion.
Yeah. And like, I know everybody's talking about Monster Hunter and Dragon Ball Fighters right now, but like Celeste is a game that you should be paying attention to, and it's just, man, it's so good. I cannot get over how good this game is. Like, I surprised myself. I'm like, holy crap, IGN gave it a 10. It's got like 3 perfect scores on Metacritic right now. Like, yeah,
because like Destructoid gave it a 10. It's like, wow.
And I'm like, man, this game kind of came out of nowhere. I never even heard of it until like they announced it at the mini direct.
The mini direct.
Yeah, I'm like,
and that's the thing, because like even PS4 and Xbox One, like, it wasn't announced. Like,
yeah, it just showed up on the store. Like,
and I think that's what happened with the mini direct. That's what I thought. It was a Nintendo exclusive, because it was announced at the mini direct. It didn't say that it was coming out for everything else. Like, it was an update, and I was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and I'm just like, man, that's crazy. And now that this game's getting like 9s and 10s everywhere, and Game Informer is giving it good scores, I'm like, man, this game is no joke. So I was like, well, I like platformers, and people were comparing it to Super Meat Boy. I'm like, well, I love Meat Boy. And now every time I go back to Meat Boy, I like try to do the dash mechanic that's in Celeste, and it's like, oh yeah, Super Meat Boy can't dash, and then I fall into a fan and get all cut up and have to start over. But I'm really enjoying Celeste, and if you own a Switch, I highly recommend this game. Even if you don't own a Switch and you just found this podcast because you like Nintendo and you're saving up for one or something, you really want to see what the library is and have a robust library when you pick yours up. Like, Celeste is a must buy. It's up there with Zelda for me right now. Like, in terms of my favorite games on the platform. Yeah, it's wow. That's all I can say. We'll see if the magic wears off next week or, next couple weeks or whatever, but it's really good. So, I think that's about it of what I've been playing, like, really been playing. I mean, I played a little bit of Blossom Tales. I played a little bit more Lumo. I got into this weird space in Lumo where, like, dude, the whole, like, I told you, like, the game starts out, you pick your character and you get sucked into a computer, and you turn into this, like, little wizard. You turn this little wizard and you're in this dungeon and you're crawling around the dungeon. I found this elevator and it took me up to this, like, if Daft Punk took over Tron and got sucked into the Matrix. And I'm like, this is like a total art direction shift. Like, it doesn't
exactly.
No, like, it really doesn't even look like the same game. I'm like, what? And there's this little robot that chases me around the room. I'm like, I'm so confused right now. But, like, Lumo is still really good. I'm not, like, falling out of love with it, but, like, the magic of getting the new game and playing it for a while is starting to wear off, and I'm, like, really starting to see the flaws of the game. But that said, I still think Lumo is really, really good. And if you like Captain Toad mixed with some Metroid elements, like, I think it's still really good, and I think people should at least try it out. I'm pretty sure there's a demo on the eShop. So, but that's kind of it. I've been trying to, man, Celeste and Super Meat Boy are sucking up all my time, and, like, I feel like I'm not going to play anything else until Bayonetta comes out. Like, it's just, man, so good.
I think that's what happens when indie games just feel like on the level of AAA. that you just can't put it down because it's that good. Like a small little game just has not addiction, but just has that attraction. Just like, oh, I just don't want to stop this, but I gotta take a break and stuff.
Yeah, and like when you play it, when you find this really hard room and you're trying to navigate the room and you miss a jump by like this much, and you're like, oh, okay, I need to dash a little bit later or something, and you finally get through the room and enter the next room. You feel so rewarded. It's like a reward. And like right now in Celeste, I'm stuck in this room with 5. There's 5 blue lights that you have to hit to unlock the next door, and I'm stuck in this room, and I'm like really trying to figure it out, and it sucks because like I've been on this room for probably, I don't know, probably 20 minutes at this point. But I mean, it's still like I know what to do. I just have to I'm in a position now where I have to get the mechanics just right to get through the room. And last night it was pretty late and I was just like kind of tired and like, I'll just try it tomorrow because, it's that point where like you try a million times when you're dead tired, you're not going to get it, and you do it the first try the next time. So
I wonder, Celeste doesn't have any bosses or anything, right? There's like no boss. It's just like a final level.
I haven't encountered any bosses yet, but I have hit a part where this game kind of deals with it's not mental health. I forget what it's dealing with. Something like in like Madeline, the main character, is kind of facing some inner demons, and those demons kind of manifest themselves as obstacles in the world. And right now, there's this little purple version of myself that's chasing me, and like that's what's making this blue light room super hard. Is the fact that like I have this little purple version of myself chasing me, and if it touches me, you die and you have to start over. And like I have to get these mechanics down just right as I'm dodging this purple version of myself chasing me. But I haven't really encountered any bosses. I've encountered a few characters though that are pretty interesting. That's another thing about Celeste too, is that it has this really interesting. It's trying to tell a story, which is kind of rare for platformers. And it's kind of cool to see the story unfold. But like I said, I've only played it for a couple, I don't know, maybe a couple hours at this point. But like I'm trying to get the strawberries, and I'm trying to, navigate the kind of maze that it's giving you. But it's cool. I like it. So
yeah, I have to pick it up. I know that's one game that in Iconoclast is like definitely on my must-haves.
I'm trying to wait for Iconoclast to come to Switch though. Iconoclast looks so good. I was watching Giant Bomb play it yesterday, 2 days ago maybe. Yesterday? I don't remember. One of these days. It's been such a long weekend.
Right.
It must have been 2 days ago because yesterday was like a super, super long day. But excuse me. I'm trying to wait for Iconoclast to come to Switch because that game looks really, really good. If you haven't seen videos on it, you guys should definitely check it out. It's right now. I think it's only on PS. It's gonna come to PS4 and PC first, and then make its way to Switch eventually. I think. I'm hoping. Not announced, but I can't see it not coming to Switch, unless Sony funded it somehow. So. Anyways, before we get into these news bits, Ed, I want to thank our fans for going to the YouTube page and subscribing. We hit our 100 subscribers last week.
Yay!
I'm very, very thrilled that people did that. And you can now find us on youtube.com/NGRradio. You can find all of our videos and stuff there. But again, I want to thank everybody. Our next goal is 500 subs gets us special YouTube things. So that's our next goal, and we only need 395 more. So
yay!
But anyway, I just want to throw that out there and thank everybody. I wanted to do it top of the show, but then I got distracted and kind of, not gonna lie, forgot. But thanks everybody for subscribing to the YouTube page. And if you haven't, you can just click the link in the description, youtube.com/NGRradio, and just hop on over. Even if you're just an audio listener, we'd appreciate the sub and the support. So, yeah, that was a big awesome thing. And I got the email from YouTube saying, "Whoa, congratulations on your 100 subs." I'm like, yes, did it.
Yes.
So, but yeah. Anyways, let's move on to some news bits, and then we'll move on to we have 2 questions for Question Block, and one of them has a surprise attached to it. So, anyways, let's move on to these news bits, shall we? News. Hey, Ed, you like that song from Super Mario Odyssey, don't you?
Yes.
Well, right now, Jump Up Superstar is free on iTunes until January 31st.
Ooh, I must download
it. Today, if you're listening, this is the last day you can download it. So, Jump Up Superstar is free on iTunes until January 31st. So go download it. I know I already did while we were recording World 1-1 with Larry. So, that song's good. It's worth a free download, I think. Right? Right.
Yes, of course.
That's fun. So, I like free things. I like free things. So,
we all do.
All right, Ed. Now to get into the real news. Multiple European GameStop stores have listed a bunch of games coming to Switch, including a The Blob HD remaster and the Legend of K anniversary game that came to Wii U. They have listed these games coming to Switch in terms of physical copies. So, more games for Switch. The Blob is really good. Legend of K, I really don't know what that game is. I think it's like an action platformer.
It is. I have it for a PS4. I got it used, let's just say. It's okay. Good, huh? It's fine. It's the B-rated budget title, let's just say.
Yeah.
You can see it.
I think it's an anniversary of a PS2 game. So, keep that in mind.
For that era, because I think it also came on Xbox and GameCube.
Okay.
Thank you. But The Blob is very weird because they announced that game only for PS4 and Xbox One. So now to see it getting a Switch release, I need to revisit if they do.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing those games make their way over to Switch. I might not get them.
They're very, very good, and the music is fantastic.
Yeah, I remember hearing some of the music from The Blob, and it was really good. So, well,
it's The Blob, for a lot of people who don't know, is a color platform game, meaning that it's a world that's kind of, it feels like a coloring book, and you just do different objectives by painting. You gotta defeat the evil group Inkt, INKT. When The Block first came out, it was a Wii exclusive, so the first game only came out on Wii, where The Block 2 came out on all the other platforms too, and it sold very well.
I mean, more Switch games. Excited. Ba, ba, ba.
Yes.
That's my excited dance. All right, Ed, are you about to be extra excited? Yes? No? Maybe? Are you extra excited? Are you about to be extra excited?
The anticipation, I can't.
A new Atlas survey in Japan asked fans which systems they want to see Persona 6 and other games on. Atlas has sent out a new survey to its Japanese customers. In it, they want to hear their fans' opinions on a variety of topics, but mostly which games they want to see on which systems. The games range from sequels to remakes to re-releases to entirely new games and IPs. A big topic is naturally the Persona series. Atlas is even asking fans about non-video game stuff here, asking whether fans would be interested in a new Persona board game. Another question is about the interests of a non-RPG Persona game, such as a strategy game or shooter. Atlas also mentions a hypothetical Persona 6 and other entries in the series coming to other systems. Fans can choose which systems they'd like to see these games on. The choices of systems include the Switch, the Nintendo 3DS, the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, and PC. Naturally, you shouldn't be jumping to any conclusions based on this survey, but I am going to jump to conclusions because I think Atlus sees the success of the Switch, especially in Japan, and Persona is a big Japanese IP. So, anyways, I'm just going to finish this and we can get into it.
Okay.
Persona 6 on Switch is sure to be a popular choice, but that doesn't mean it will actually going to happen. For now, Persona fans can look forward to Persona Q2 on 3DS and enjoy the extra content coming to Persona 5 on PlayStation 4.
Yes. So Atlus is very successful here in America. We know that. They're also successful in Japan. For it to because of Switch selling so great in Japan, Atlus would be crazy not to put a game out on there. With Square Enix putting the World Ends Review on Switch, Atlus title like Tokyo Mirage Session or Catherine or something like that Atlus is known for to be put on the Switch series, something definitely for the Shin Megami Tensei. It don't even have to be Persona.
We know we're getting Shin Megami Tensei 5 on Switch.
Yes, we are. And I think they also announced that they're working on another game for Switch that's not an RPG.
Yeah, they have. Well, Sega themselves said they have 6 unnamed Switch projects, and at least one of them we know is from Atlus. So,
Atlus, okay. So, what this survey says is, and it's only for Japan, can lead where Atlus may want to go, and it could probably help them to see how sales will be on the system. Now, for the actual content, we don't know yet. Persona belongs to Sony. But outside of that,
well, it doesn't belong to Sony. Sony just helped fund Persona 5.
It belongs to Sony's platform because the Persona games have never been on any other platform. The side games have been on the 3DS or the DS handhelds, but the main series has only been on the Sony platform. Persona 4 Golden is a different kind of thing because like Persona 3 FES is like a newer version, like it's an international updated version.
I do want to touch on real quick before you continue that there is a subreddit going around saying that they could be porting Persona 4 Golden and an HD version of Persona 3 FES.
Now that would be smart for them to do that.
Yeah, I don't need Persona 5. But what I did play, I loved Persona 4 Golden, and I loved it until the day my Vita died, which was about 15 hours into that game. It was one of the only reasons why I got a Vita, and then I didn't play it for like a year and afterwards, and then my Vita died, and now I'm like I was half tempted to get another Vita until Switch came out. Now I'm like, I just don't care.
Yeah, I got Persona 4 from the PS2 on my PS3, and it looks okay, but it's like these graphics of the PS2 is not good on this HD console. Like, yeah. But to see Persona 3 FES and HD, because it still looks crispy clean, to see that on Switch and to have them on Switch for me will be like just complete joyous. Like, it's a game that I will want to play on my TV, not so much take it on the road, because even though I enjoyed it, I need to see this game a little bit more clearer on a bigger TV screen. Definitely with a Persona 4 Golden gets re-released for Switch. The Shin Megami Tensei series is a weird thing because because Persona was the first like kind of Shin Megami Tensei, but when they actually started doing the Shin Megami Tensei series, it went from PlayStation to Nintendo to 3DS. So that's why I said Persona has stuck with Sony. So
well, it's weird because like Persona is technically the spin-off series of Shin Megami Tensei. Right. Like Shin Megami Tensei is like the big like universe that they build, and then it branches out into Persona, and then Devil Summoner and Digital Devil Saga, and then there's all these branches, and then then there's just the main Shin Megami Tensei stuff.
which actually started on the Super Nintendo in Japan. That I'm like, I've never heard of. Like Shin Megami Tensei just came out of nowhere here in America. Definitely with Persona. Like, because Atlas, I need to read Atlas history, because we give them a lot of praise now, but they been in the business for like a long time, and they were just like that small niche company, and like the DS just made that company explode.
Oh yeah.
It was good on PlayStation, but the titles that they put out from Japan, like those are the true JRPGs. When Square Enix or Squaresoft at that time was not feeding us anymore after they left Nintendo.
Yeah.
So Atlas kind of like really saved the JRPG for Nintendo fans.
Yeah.
So I would love for them to also bring this survey to America. Because I think with a lot of us, we would like to provide some of our input for that survey. Because even though it's good that they gave it to Japan, like I think Europe and America would love to answer some questions and get their input, because Atlas, they really make top quality games, and I think people around the world would love to give them feedback about that, and like really play some of their future games if they decide to make it and put it on that platform.
Yeah definitely. So we'll see. I mean, I'm excited for when we get Shin Megami Tensei 5, and I got Persona 5 on a flash sale on PSN, so like, you know,
I need to return to that game and finish it.
I need to start it, but I want to. What I want to do, because like on Wednesday, Matt, Moose, and I are gonna finish Bloodborne finally, and kind of start doing the first real episodes of Hammer Bros Academy, and then I need to record a bunch of Nintendo stuff for us to do Let's Pod and Play on. And then somewhere in the near future, we got to have a weekend day off where we can play with Jesse to do some
Rainbow Six and Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, some squad goals. So like, yeah, man, it's gonna be. I need to find time to do Persona, but what?
If you up this coming Wednesday, if you want to like do a bonus pod and play about Persona, we can.
Yeah,
Persona 5.
Yeah, well, yeah, because like I think we're doing Bloodborne stuff during the day ish. I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk about it after the show.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm excited for any type of Atlas. Ever since Persona 4 Golden, I'm kind of in on Persona. Like I'm even interested in like the Catherine remake that they're doing for PS4. So. Yeah, what a game that would be on Switch. But all right, Ed. I think we touched on this last week, but Epic Games creative director is interested in bringing Fortnite to Switch, and there's a tweet that went around. This guy named Sam. A hyper teddy bear is his Twitter handle. Tweeted at Donald Mustard, who is the creative director over at Epic Games. He said, "I play Fortnite on PC, but I would love to play it on my Switch. Are you interested in making it for the Switch?" And Donald Mustard replied, "Yes, I am. Hopefully, we'll do that at some point!" Exclamation mark. So, yeah, it's and then some other places have started picking the story up, and they're exploring the possibility of it coming to Switch. And not, I don't know about Battle Royale specifically. I'm talking about like real Fortnite, like base Fortnite. So, would you be interested in playing Fortnite on Switch if it came?
Yeah, I would love to see how it does, because I think Fortnite right now, a lot of people know it for is free battle royale and not for the game itself. So I think if this game being on Switch, I think it would give a lot of people focus to play the main game, and I think it would guarantee like more physical sales for it. If they decide if they want to bring Battle Royale to the Switch for it, that's fine. The first thing everybody's going to ask, though, is this game going to be crossplay? And I think Epic is not ready to do crossplay just yet. But if they could get it working between PC, Microsoft, Xbox One, and Switch, I think they'll incorporate it. And the talk of Sony doing crossplay would just fade away, because they'll just be like, well, we got Nintendo fans buying the game, and if they're willing to do crossplay, then we're not worried about Sony. So then they're going to find more sales between those three platforms than they will on Sony.
Yeah, I mean, I think Fortnite, like you're saying, is like, I think with the capability, just the basic capability of the Switch alone would benefit Fortnite, because it's all about connecting with players and, teaming up and taking on these enemies and surviving. And like, if you get 3 or 4 people together and they all have their Switches together and they're just like hanging out, like, why not? I think that'd be really cool. I think Fortnite, like we talk about. Again, I feel like I have to say this every time, because we always get a comment or two that's like, you guys say every game's got to be on Switch. But, like, I know not every game's got to be on Switch, but I just feel like what Fortnite does in such a unique way would really benefit from the Switch's capability, you know?
Right. Some people don't I still say this, that games like Fortnite, having a local community or online community, like bringing your Switch to a con and playing with people at PAX, playing with people at Evo, playing with other people with their Switch, is still getting that top AAA quality gameplay. That's cool. That's fun. Who would not want to be able to experience this game that way? And if you see people are playing it and you're just like, well, this is marketing, I may want to get a Switch and get that game, so when I come back, I could be on their level of having fun and challenging them. That's cool. Having that opportunity that you can't do with your PC or with your PlayStation 4 or even Vita, in that sense, because Vita doesn't have a lot of games like that. Doing it with the Switch stuff, yeah, it works. It showcases what Nintendo made the system about. Not, we say, of course, not only can you do it on the TV, but on portable, but taking the extra controller off and having someone play, seeing people around and playing with their Pro controllers, or taking the Joy-Cons and putting it on the control, on the grip and stuff, to see that happening, yes, why not?
Yeah. Plus, what you could do with Switch that, Fortnite wants to do anyway, crossplay with Xbox and PC.
Yeah.
Since Sony won't play nice with crossplay, it would be something that they could do. So we've seen it with Rocket League. We've seen it with a few other games. So Fortnite could also benefit from being on the same server as Xbox, which would boost, all that. So yeah, I would love to play Fortnite, but like I said, that's a game where I'd have to sink a lot of time into that I don't have to sit in front of my TV. But if I had it on Switch, the story would be different. So
yeah.
All right, Ed, next piece of news. This is interesting because these are coming. I'll just get to the story. Man, Ed, if this ends up being true, I'm gonna freak out. According to Nintendo of Norway, Metroid Prime 4 and Bayonetta 3 are slated for 2018 release. I'm going to read the quote straight from Nintendo of Norway's website, and then I'm going to read the story. In September, we also got a review of Nintendo's classic 16-bit console, better known as Super Nintendo in Norway. Nintendo Classic Mini, the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, comes with 2 hand controllers and 21 classic games. The year of 2017 has definitely been Nintendo's year, and we're looking forward to 2018, which will include new games like Bayonetta 3, Metroid Prime 4, and Kirby Star Allies, as well as many other games that we will reveal during the coming year. The story goes, this is from Nintendo Today, and they credit Nintendo Life. According to Nintendo Norway's official site, Metroid Prime 4 and Bayonetta 3 will be released in 2018. Nintendo revealed the game last year, but didn't mention any release date, or not even a release year. And there might be some truth to this report. Last week there was another release date rumor. Bayonetta 3 was rumored to be released in 2018 and possibly at the end of summer. Hopefully, Nintendo will make a few announcements at a future Nintendo Direct, which should be sometime later. So, it says sometime this month, but it would probably be, we still think it's February. So, I was shocked when I read this news story, and I was shocked that this is a screen cap from Nintendo of Norway's website. I still don't think either of those games are coming this year.
Yes. We are like, our new term is take it with a grain of salt. Throw in some pepper if you need to.
A grain of salt? You might as well swallow the whole shaker.
Well, no, take it with a grain of salt because let's say if this gets confirmed. Let's just say it gets confirmed. What happens to fall? Because, and we have talked about this, what does Nintendo need to do to plan out its fall? Because at this point, if Metroid Prime 4 and Bayonetta 3 comes out, what game, besides Call of Duty and besides NBA, is going to challenge those games? Because
I mean,
God of War,
besides the clockwork games like Battlefield and Call of Duty and either the Assassin's Creed Watchdog flip-flop year, like there's nothing to challenge these games.
Right.
I mean, I think they pretty much confirmed that, Red Dead's coming this summer, so that's out of the way. You have your sports games, which don't really affect games like this.
Anthem got pushed to 2019.
Yeah, Anthem got pushed out of the way. Destiny will probably have some big expansion in September, but who knows where Bungie's going to be at that point. And
who knows where players are going to be at that point with Destiny 2.
Yeah, let's just save the Destiny talk for later. I'm sorry. I'm really tired of hearing about that game right now. I'm tired. I'm just tired. Destiny makes me tired. But if you rearrange your fall to line up with Metroid and Bayonetta and slap in, you could have Yoshi in July, Fire Emblem in August, September would be Bayonetta 3, October would be Metroid Prime 4, and then, if...
See, that's the problem. I think they would switch that.
You think Bayonetta would be...
I think Metroid Prime
you don't think they would put a first-person... Well, quote-unquote, first-person shooter up against other first-person shooters?
No, because Metroid will be in September. Bayonetta would just fit October. Just well. Because a witch Halloween theme, why would you want to put that in September?
It would be a good marketing thing, too.
Right.
True. All right, you're right. I stand corrected. Unless they push Metroid Prime to November. I mean, that would be the only other thing I could think of, but... I wouldn't want to put like even as strong of a title as Metroid Prime 4 would be. I wouldn't want to put that deep in November. especially after like the Call of Duty and Battlefield rush.
The Poke Company would tell Nintendo, "Don't you dare put Metroid in November, because that's our month."
Yeah, even if it's not a mainline Pokemon game this year, like a mystery dungeon game's probably coming at some point for 3DS. Like, there's going to be a 3DS Pokemon game this fall, even if it's not a mainline one. So, yeah, man, this shocked me when I read this. Like, I didn't even want to like bring it up until like the screen grab on this thing is from Nintendo of Norway's website. Like, I don't
and no one knows if they went back and changed it or anything, if it's gone.
Yeah, well, like, yeah, but like this was on like a selling point for the Super Nintendo Classic, and then they went on to market Switch stuff, and I was like, scratching my head. I'm like, what? That's not right. Unless they've been working on these games for so long that they did for Switch, and just every 6 weeks they have a game ready,
right?
Unless they're just, I don't know, man.
Because Nintendo and Platinum had to be doing something while they were working on their Automata. They had to.
Yeah.
If it's not near Automata, it has to be the Ninja Turtles game. That Nintendo had to be doing something with Platinum at that time. They had to be like mad talks.
It's not like and I know like game development's hard and whatever, but like it's not like they had to build a new engine for Bayonetta. They have the Bayonetta 2 engine, which I'm assuming Bayonetta 3 is running on, right? I mean, the hardware's not that different. You know, if anything, it'd probably be easier because the architecture of the Switch is so much easier to develop for.
Right. And
so you reuse some assets and some enemy designs, and then you just I mean, it would shock me if this game like wasn't in development right after Bayonetta 2 at some point, just like a small team saying, okay, Bayonetta 2's out, let's have pre-pro here, let's get some like testing here, and obviously they're going to work with Nintendo again on Bayonetta, like let's have something to show them in case they want to publish the game again. So they probably already had it, at least a vertical slice to show them, so all they would the development had probably already started. So like, Bayonetta, I could see Bayonetta this year, but at the same time, I don't know if you'd want to release it the same year as the 1 and 2 collection. Like, that's what's stumping me. It's not the development of Bayonetta 3. It's, do you really want to release it the same year as your collection?
And I that's why I said to take this with a grain of salt and throw in some pepper, because Platinum, even though they're not major, and they need other parties to help them fund games and stuff, especially with them having to plan on funding their own game. I think with the work that they had did on Scalebound, I think the work they had did on Near Automata has spread them too thin. So now I feel like Near Automata is done. So now production on Bayonetta 2, after they showed that little cutscene, I think production has ramped up, and now they're focusing on their game before they start jumping into ideas on their next game.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they can't. There's no way that they're going to get that game. It was announced in October or whatever the Game Awards is, and then to get it that game like that major game big, to get it done for the fall without really testing this, really testing it and giving some thought. Like, no, Nintendo's gonna step in and be like, we're delaying this game because you got to make sure that you guys get this game right.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. That's all I can see. I feel like Bayonetta 2 is going to make sure that there's dedicated funds for Platinum Games to work more on Bayonetta 3. If Bayonetta 2 could get 1 million plus sales,
digitally and physically, then that's just like, okay, we know that you guys got interest for people who from people who missed it, and you guys want to bring Bayonetta 3. So here's some extra money for any delays, so that you guys can get 3 together.
Yeah. Oh man, that would just be like, I don't even know. Man, I just
And Metroid Prime 4, that just needs to cook. That it needs all the time that it needs. Like, don't even rush that game to come out.
Metroid Prime 4 needs to be perfect. It needs to be like Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey tier quality, because like, as much as we like Metroid, as much as like our group of friends and people that we talk to and everything like Metroid doesn't sell well. So in order to get it to sell amazing this time around, it's got to be perfect. It's got to be perfect. And like, I think by the time Metroid comes out, the Switch effect will like have worn off of people, of like, I need to buy games for Switch because there's nothing to play. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that magic will have worn off by 2019. So, like, it needs to be top tier perfect.
Yes.
And I still think it needs some sort of competitive multiplayer aspect. I, like, to get people in that aren't Metroid fans to buy that game, I think it needs a competitive multiplayer component. And, like, not that that's what I want Metroid for, but if you're going for that first-person shooter aspect, your Splatoon free DLC will be ending by then. Like, you're going to need another competitive game that, you know, you can keep supporting, especially with that new online service. It'll be Smash, and probably Metroid would be a great idea, you know, even if it's even if it's light competitive elements like Halo 5 does, you know, where, like, there's no perks, there's no customizing your guns or anything, but you know, the gameplay's fun and it keeps people coming back, and you unlock new colors, new suits for your bounty hunters, stuff like that. I mean, that's got to be.
I think what's going to happen is that Nintendo, and someone's going to do this. I don't know who's going to do it, but there's going to be some kind of like form or classified ad showing that we want to hire some people who have worked on first-person shooters with their online multiplayer and stuff. And of course, someone's going to screen capture it and post it out and just be like, okay, Nintendo's hiring somebody, so they're doing some kind of multiplayer for this game. I literally feel like Nintendo probably, if Nintendo could hire some people, and of course this is Japan, but I'm thinking of more of America. If Nintendo could just find some old developers who worked on some of their first-person shooters and just hire them to work on Metroid Prime 4, it would be a good fit. And I can't really say Visceral because they didn't really make a first-person shooter. But like we mentioned, like Sledgehammer, if some of those people that work there could come to whoever's developing the next Metroid Prime and work on this multiplayer and be able to kick ideas, that would be super cool.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see. I would rather them like take their time on Metroid, especially like, you know, we have such a robust year already. You know, we've got maybe they're not Zelda and Mario level heavy hitters, but we've got heavy hitters this year. We have games, you know, that will sell well for Switch regardless because of how popular the system is. And, you know, it's fine. Just wait. You know, like, it would be different if we were sitting here talking about Pokemon and be like, you know what, maybe the smart move would be to get it out early, even if it's not, you know, quote unquote perfect. But the way Pokemon sells is, God, it's on the other end of the spectrum the way Metroid sells. So
the Pokemon company know what they're doing, so we're not worried about them.
Yeah, so we'll see. We shall see. But finally, the last news story of the day, Ed. Story of the year. talked about at the top of the show. Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn, listed for physical release for April 3rd.
Better yet, everybody, just read the story about Flint Hook coming to Switch.
Oh, man. This is the best story ever. Anyways, we're gonna move on to our question block. I just like to tease that about Shaq Fu. I can't wait to make this the cover photo of the episode.
But seriously, dude, I'm super stoked that Flint Hook is coming to Switch because I've been wanting that game.
I don't even really know what that game is.
Just if you guys like guys like platformers and Metroidvania, check out Flint Hook. It is available on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, but I'm getting this game on Switch. So, question block. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so you can email the show at nintendopowblock@gmail.com to get your question read, or tweet at us at NGRPowblock, or follow us on Instagram at Nintendo Pow Block, or leave a comment in the previous episode's comment section, and we will try to read it on the next episode. So let me get to the questions here. I'm very organized right now. Recently deleted. Ooh, yeah, that's not where that goes.
Yes.
Where is this? Oh,
and want to thank first, before we get into question block, want to thank everybody who had sent us an email for the podcast challenge. To get your question answered. We kind of had a little change in it, but we did receive your question, and our fearless leader, Corey Dirrig, our boss man from at NGR Radio Headquarters, has chosen a winner and their questions. So we're going to get to it, but I just want to say thank you guys for sending us your questions. They were great questions. We will have this contest probably a little bit later on in the year, because we really want to thank you guys as the viewers and listeners for giving us feedback, for subscribing, for sending us questions, and just tuning in and commenting on the show and everything. It wouldn't be still going without you guys. So we just want to thank you and kind of reward one of you guys from your question.
Yeah.
Yes. So do for the winner, when it does get announced, please also email us your name and address, so I could send it out to you.
Yeah. So we're gonna read this first question, and then we will announce the winner of the contest.
Yes.
So okay, our first question comes from Sam Hall. Do you think we're getting too many games these days? How do you think this will affect the industry in the long run?
Do you feel like we're getting too many games these days? We're getting a steady stream of games compared to what we had on the Nintendo 64.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I'm just saying, like the Nintendo 64, the PlayStation 2, like at a time that when these systems came out, we didn't get a hot game or a must-have game like 4 or 5 months after its release. And even now, when the new systems came out, it took a while for a really must-have game coming out. People were mad at Nintendo Switch with their kind of release date, but kind of found out that a lot of people were picking up those games. And then you just see a cavalcade of games for Switch being announced and coming out. Things were popping, and people were just like, yes. So we're getting a good library. We always want great games coming out. We always want to have a positive library to have for our consoles, our handhelds, our PC, whatever. So as long as the games are good, it shouldn't matter how many is coming out. You can always balance what you want to buy now and what you want to buy later, because as long as you can show support for that developer and that publisher by picking up that game, that's all that matters. And if it makes you have a good library, a great, awesome library of games, it shouldn't matter.
Yeah. I think in the amount of time, the short amount of time the Switch has been out and the amount of games they've put out, and just I think the amount of games compared to the quality of games, I think probably hasn't been higher at this point, in terms of, Nintendo systems in general. Like, I think the last time we got this amount of games for a Nintendo system was probably Wii. And even then, like, I don't think the quality was definitely not as high as it is now. Like,
yes,
I think, we got some interesting titles for sure. Like, Wii Sports was great. Twilight Princess was great. Red Steel. Man, I'm hearing all these beeps. Sorry, guys, if you're... We're trying to coordinate with Jesse to get Arsenal X going after this recording. But, I think Nintendo is doing a great job of spacing out the release dates of, at least their first-party stuff.
Yes.
Every 5 to 6 weeks, we're getting a new Nintendo game, which, not every game is going to be for everybody, but, every Nintendo game is for me and Ed, so it's fine.
You're right.
But in all seriousness, I think the quality of third-party games we're getting is outstanding. I think the quality of the indie games that we're getting, I do think the eShop is getting a little bit flooded with not fantastic titles, but I haven't played every game on the eShop, so I can't say it, but there are a ton of quality games on the eShop too, like SteamWorld Dig 2, Celeste, Super Meat Boy, Snake Pass, Shovel Knight. Like, there's so many great games. Shantae, Tiny Barbarians, from all accounts, is really good. And we're getting Dead Cells and Flint Hook and Hollow Knight, and I think this is probably like the highest quality library a Nintendo console's had in its first year. Definitely. We've probably got like 5 to 7 years left with this console, right? I mean, I can't tell you the quality of the library overall when it's done, but like, I think the last time I was this excited about a Nintendo library that this quality was GameCube, honestly. And like, don't get me wrong, the Wii U has a great first-party lineup, but we didn't have the indies that we have now. We didn't have the third-party support, definitely, especially after that first 6 months. We got indies here and there, and we had, timed exclusive ones like Shovel Knight, which were amazing. But we didn't, and we got stuff later on like SteamWorld Dig and stuff, but, just the sheer amount of quality games that we have on Switch right now is outstanding. And, look, do I think we're getting too many games? Sort of. Do I think the quality of the games are there and deserve to be looked at? Yes. Is every game for everybody? No. So, I've talked to people who don't like Zelda. They're wrong, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's people out there that, maybe Zelda's not for them, and Mario Odyssey is the best game. I know people who bought Switch for Street Fighter and Bomberman. I know people who bought Switch so they could have a portable version of Skyrim. I know people who bought a Switch to replace their Vita with because they love indie games. The system definitely appeals to everybody, and like, I can't wait to see, like, what does Capcom have planned? Like, the big hypothetical right now is, what if they debut the Resident Evil 2 remake on Switch? What if they do that? What if they start bringing over their HD? Please bring Resident Evil 1 to Switch. Please bring Resident Evil 1 to Switch. Please, Capcom. Hear my plea. Honestly, I would love to see all those Resident Evil games on Switch. The 1, 2, or 1, 0, and 4 specifically, and they can throw 5 and 6 in there if they want to, but you know what I mean? Like, I think there are games that deserve to be on Switch that aren't there, and I think there are games that are on Switch that don't deserve to be there. Like, don't get me wrong, it's great that we got LA Noire, but did that game really need to be on Switch? I don't think so, but I got it anyway, and it's pretty okay. So,
and last thing from my stance is that if we're getting too many games, then we're getting a lot of success stories. Because if you go for the past few weeks, indie games that came out on Switch been like, we have been making a profit. We have sold 455,000 copies of this one indie game. We have sold more than our copy of the Xbox 360 version. Like, indie developers are coming out and giving us good reports on how that one game that's been on other platforms that people should have been talking about are talking about now on Switch. That it might been out on earlier on other platforms, but if they're making more sales and making more money on Switch than they've been doing in the past, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, if we were talking about other consoles, like I would say I think we're getting a bunch of trash on the other consoles. If I'm going to be quite honest with you, not like AAA trash. I'm talking like just a flood of indie games that aren't curated, they just approve them. Like that Mayo game for PS4 where you tap it for like 10 minutes and you get a platinum trophy. Like that's straight up garbage on their store, and that's not part of the curation, you know? I think you know, we're seeing a lot of long games on the other platforms that are keeping people from purchasing, you know, other games. You know, I think in that respect, we might be getting, I don't know, it's just in a weird spot because a lot the other systems are, especially Xbox, especially now with the Game Pass thing, are focusing on games as a service. You know, we're getting not only like Halo and Gears on Game Pass, but they just announced, if you don't own an Xbox, they just announced that all their first party games are going day and date on their new Game Pass service, which is huge for them. And, you know, I'm sure we're going to talk about it on Arsenal X, but they have to find ways to monetize those games outside of Game Pass because, you know, people are going to buy Game Pass and just for those games specifically. You know, I mean, I'm going to get Game Pass when Sea of Thieves and Crackdown come out.
Bet your bottom dollar.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a way not to curse when I was saying that, but you know, I think that that's the way that Xbox wants to go, and that works for them. Whereas Nintendo's kind of on the opposite side of it, and like we want to have single player games. We want to respect our long running IP. We want to create new experiences within these IP and create new IP. Look at ARMS. Look how great ARMS was. So
yes,
you know, I think as the games as service, I think people want you to stick with their games longer, which makes it seem like other games, there's too many games coming out for the other platforms, but really I think the issue is games are becoming longer and have longer tails in DLC to the point where people are keeping their games in their systems longer and not paying attention to other games. So
yes,
but that's for the other systems. I think the Switch is doing a great job of, it seems like there's a lot coming out, but they're doing a good job of spacing out the releases and promoting the good indies. Like, that's the thing. There's a lot of indies on the eShop, but they're doing a great job. Like 2 days ago, they just randomly had a trailer of, hey, check out our Nindy Spotlights. And it's like a 3-minute trailer of all the best indie games on the eShop right now. Okay, cool.
Right.
So they're doing a good job of telling you which indies are great, and you know, obviously their first party stuff speaks for itself. And then you know, we'll be getting Wolfenstein soon. We'll be getting a few other third party games hopefully soon. So yeah,
save your coins up, everybody, for more games.
Yeah, save them up. Just don't spend them in Miitomo. All right, Ed, it's time to announce the winner of Nintendo Pow Block expansion pack contest. Are you ready? Greg Schnabel. I'm sorry. Next email you write in, Greg, please write out phonetically how you say your last name because I don't want to mess it up anymore. You have won the Nintendo Pow Block
Yay!
expansion pack contest, and we're announcing it here on the podcast, so you will hopefully hear it. And I'm not sure if you're an audio listener or a video watcher, but that's why we did it on this show because, yeah. Anyways, your question: where would we be the gamers, the companies, and the industry as a whole if the Nintendo Sony deal had gone through?
Say that again because you froze, Corey.
Oh, sorry. Where would we be, the gamers, the companies, and the industry as a whole, be if the Nintendo Sony deal had gone through?
I think we will.
I don't think we as the gamers. I think. Well, let's start. I'm going to start with the companies first, because I don't think Sony and PlayStation would be where they are now, in terms of like, you know, where Naughty Dog is. You know, I don't think they would be as big. I don't think, you know, I think Nintendo would have had some sort of pull with them and be like, look, you need to do this, and this for us, instead of letting them kind of do their own thing. Where, you know, Sony kind of got caught up in like, we need this, and this, and now this generation they're kind of letting the strings loose on their studios, you know, letting them kind of do whatever they want, you know, in terms of like, you know, you look at Guerrilla from Killzone to Horizon, you see Naughty Dog go from Uncharted to The Last of Us, you see Sony Bend go from, you know, PSP spin-offs to doing Days Gone. Like, you know, I don't know how good those games are going to be, but, you know, they're getting the freedom to do the games that they kind of want to do. We saw God of War get, in, for me at least, an interesting kind of semi-reboot / sequel, you know, that they had to sell to Sony, and Sony let them do it.
Yes.
So I don't think we'd be getting that kind of... First of all, I don't think we would get Horizon or Uncharted or God of War on a Nintendo platform.
I think the way that Nintendo was at that time was a company that wasn't business smart, meaning that even Nintendo now wouldn't have the freedom and create and kind of creativity of games because of the president of Nintendo at that time, during the old thing. And I think they would have been too demanding on Sony, and I feel like they would have cheated Sony out on some of the games and profits and stuff like that. So I'm kind of glad that the deal didn't go through. I think they were probably looking at how Sega CD, if it was going to be successful or not. They went a different route where they did more licensing their titles with Panasonic for CDI, and that didn't pan well for Nintendo. So I think what the industry would be now, and I agree with Corey with, you know, having that freedom stuff. I think the industry now, I think Sony would have still been. I think Sony would have brought out the PlayStation. I think they would have learned from Nintendo's mistakes and have been able to way overshadow Nintendo more than they did with the N64. So, I think Sony, you know, definitely, and don't forget, Sony actually had like Columbia. They had their picture studio. Sony was about sound and still about sound than they were about video games. And I think with Sony not being very technical, I think there probably would have been some kind of problems Nintendo would have had with Sony with that PlayStation. Because I don't think there would be games good enough to be on that system. Definitely with FMV kind of being like the big thing when it came to games and stuff. Like still to this day, if it were to happen, Secret of Mana, if done right, would have probably been the only most wanted game. I don't think Nintendo was ready to put a platformer on CD. For that to come to that system, what they could do on a cartridge, and with their technology, I don't think that Nintendo PlayStation would be able to do that and give them the satisfactory. It would sound good, but that's the only thing that will probably happen to it of it sounding good.
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of audio, it would be the Super Nintendo Genesis comparison again. To be honest, because like the Genesis, the first gen Genesis had that amazing sound chip in it, which is why it was like super expensive. Which I still don't understand why my parents bought me a Genesis instead of a Super Nintendo. But at the same time, it's weird because like Sony tried to ape what Nintendo was doing, and it clearly wasn't as good as what Nintendo was doing. Like, we got Crash because of Mario. We got, we got Jet Moto,
Spyro, Jack the Jump Rabbit, or Jumpin' Jack Rabbit, something like that.
And like we got and they wanted to be edgier, so we got Twisted Metal, and we got Tomb Raider, and we got all these other like crazy things. And I think the thing that helped PlayStation succeed was moving away from cartridges and moving to discs,
and moving into the 3D space also.
Yeah,
compared to 2D and sprite based.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that we could sit here and talk about, like franchises and everything. I still think if Nintendo and Sony teamed up for that add-on, like I don't think we would be having this discussion of like Sony's first party lineups. I mean, like, I think their first party lineup, personally, I think it's stronger than it's ever been. Sony,
yes,
I don't think we would have any of these games on a Nintendo platform, which kind of like, it's kind of amazing to think about. Like, would you want to have a Zelda versus Horizon argument this last year if they were on the same console?
Would you want Nintendo to own Sony's IP? That's the most worrisome part, because if Nintendo owns some of Sony's IP, what is Sony gonna do? If Sony wants to get into the video game industry, they would have to literally break their contract with Nintendo, make sure that if they do decide to make another CD-based system, they can't name it PlayStation because Nintendo will own it.
Yeah.
They would have to try to do something way different that Nintendo doesn't come and sue them for it.
Yeah. Yeah, and like even if that deal went through and then, Sony broke off later, like, I don't think Sony would be in the same places as they are now in terms of success. I think the Xbox would be the more interesting console compared to Sony, because I think Sony would still be figuring out, what do we need to do? What do we want to do with games? And Xbox would be, the quote unquote mature gamers' preferred choice of platforms, and then Nintendo would kind of still be right where they're at now in terms of like, hey, our handhelds are popular. We've got legendary IPs. Maybe Nintendo would have one or two more IP that they owned. Would they be as interesting? I don't know. I mean, like, would they have Ratchet and Clank and Jak and Daxter and well, not Crash, but you know what I mean?
Right. And if you have a chance, Greg, or anybody, go look what Sony did with Sega CD when they did Peter Pan.
Oh, jeez.
Go look and see what Sony did on the Sega CD, and see if you want that.
Even before that, go look at old Naughty Dog games, like before Sony bought them. Go look at like, go look at Guerrilla's first game before Killzone. Like, go look at some of these IP and think about like how delayed would Sony's IP and Mastercraft be compared to what it is now if they had like a 3 or 4 year delay or 5 year delay, or even into like, what if the PlayStation 2 never came out? What if the GameCube was part of, like, what if the PS2 and GameCube were like one console? Like, what would the GameCube controller look like? The DualShock? Would we have a DVD player in the GameCube? Like, what would these things look like?
Right.
Would would Spyro be in Smash?
Ooh,
Would
no.
Jak and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank be in Smash? Would Sly Cooper? You know, I understand like those IP, like the platformers specifically are competing for the Mario spot, but they're so different that I don't know, like, would Nintendo want another platformer? But then you think, like, well, Nintendo has like 4 platformers already, and Yoshi and Kirby and Mario, and like
Nintendo has Nintendo has a finesse to their platformers where Sony doesn't.
Yeah.
Yes, and you could argue with me about how well Crash Bandicoot sold and all of that, but I bet you if we had a platformer talk between Nintendo and Sony, I bet you we would reference Mario games more than we would reference Crash Bandicoot. Nobody has been asking for Crash Bandicoot, and even with this remake or that 3-part collection, if you want to look at Crash Bandicoot history, go after what happened with Crash with those 3 games, and then go look at Mario's history with all the games that he came out with in his platform games. Because trust me, none of you could throw all Crash games together and they could barely put a dent on how many sales that New Super Mario Brothers for DS or for Wii has done. Crash Bandicoot has not even been in a video game movie compared to what the anticipation everybody had for Mario Brothers
in the very
3.
successful Skylanders Netflix show, though.
That's a Netflix show.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
like people were spending 25 cents at Child World or Toys R Us or whatever kind of toy store that had the Nintendo Players 10, where you could get a 2-minute demo of that. Can you say the same thing for Crash Bandicoot?
I think what this I think the big thing here is, like, look what happened instead of joining forces and learning from Nintendo.
Yes.
Like, in all honesty, like, if we're looking back then, like, and maybe Sony could have benefited from teaming up with Nintendo and learning from Nintendo, because, like, the quality of their games maybe would have been better from the start. You look at what happens when Nintendo leads, and then instead of joining and learning, Sony follows with a console. And, you know, this isn't true for every game that Sony put out. They put out some great games, you know. Like,
yes.
There's some fantastic games on the PlayStation. And, you know, not all of them are Sony first-party games, but enough of them are PlayStation exclusive that we can talk about it, you know. Like,
right.
You look at how great Super Mario World is. You look how great Super Mario 64 is. You look at Super Metroid, and you know, there are some cases where the game on PlayStation that rivals the Nintendo version are considered better. You know, you look at Symphony of the Night. A lot of people think that that's better than Super Metroid. I've never played Symphony of the Night, so I can't tell you that. But you definitely look at Nintendo and say they led. You know, look at these people try to follow them, and very rarely do people catch them.
Right, and. Nintendo cannot do a Eco. Nintendo cannot do Shadow of the Colossus.
But they could, though. They can, though. Like, what if Nintendo took a stab at a Shadow of the Colossus style game? What if they had a studio where they made these art games that told a story through the art that they're telling? Like, they kind of. I think they could. I think they could do that.
The problem is that they don't want to rival Zelda. That's the problem.
I mean, that's fine, but you don't have to, though.
Right, but see, that's the thing. That's what would happen with the conversation. They would try to make a game like Shadow of the Colossus and Eco, and Zelda will be the first comparison they will bring up. Any reviewer, any journalist, any fan, they would do that, and Nintendo wants to do their best to avoid that because Zelda is so good in its own right, and it has done so many things that how would Nintendo be able to take an art game and make it its own that doesn't get compared, that none of Nintendo's past IPs get mentioned? Where at Sony, with Sony, we could talk about Eco, we could talk about Shadow of the Colossus, we could talk about that kind of Team Eco game because that's something only Team Eco could make, and we have nothing else on Sony's PlayStation and their first party that could be compared to it, that will rival it. You try to do Shadow of the Colossus and Killzone and see where you get at.
Yeah.
There's no way that you could do that. If we did that with Nintendo, Zelda would be the first one because Zelda is that good.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. It's an interesting topic, and that's honestly that's why this question won, is because we got this email a couple of days ago, and I sat on it, and I was trying to decide how we were going to reveal the winner of this contest, and I knew that question was going to win because of this. Look, that would have changed. That team up would have changed the course of gaming. We wouldn't have a PlayStation. Sega would probably still be making consoles. That's the other thing. Sega would still be making consoles because the PS2 killed the Dreamcast. So many people were looking forward to the PS2 that they just did not buy the Dreamcast, and we would still be getting Sega systems probably. And to be honest with you, and Microsoft teamed up with Sega to put Windows in the Dreamcast. Would Xbox even exist? Would it still be Sega versus Nintendo? Would we be playing Halo on the successor to the Dreamcast right now? Would Sega be the online console with Dreamcast Live instead of Xbox Live? It would just fascinating. It's fascinating because we would still have Sega. We probably wouldn't have Xbox because Microsoft would want to be some sort of
support software
for Dreamcast. Maybe Microsoft buys Sega at some point, like it was rumored back in the mid 2000s. Man,
and don't forget that would be an American company taking over a Japanese company,
and that would be one of the first times in history because it is very in Japanese culture it's not forbidden, but it's very frowned upon that a Japanese company sells outside of another. If they don't sell to a Japanese company, it's very frowned upon because it's such an honorable society. All those. How honorable can you be though when you have a bunch of teenage anime girls? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be making fun. That's not nice, but you know what I mean. It's a sense of pride and honor for them to stay within their country and their culture, and that would have been a huge deal for Sega to sell to Microsoft.
Right. So. It would have been a huge deal for Nintendo and Sony, but I think there would have been a lot of problems, and we wouldn't have the stuff that we have now.
Yeah. So, well, Greg, thank you for writing in. You are the winner of this expansion pack contest. Remember, you need to email the show with your address so we can get that prize out to you as soon as possible. So,
and when you do receive it, Greg, please post it on NGR Radio Facebook page and post it on Nintendo Pow Block with you holding it or with your ears on it and stuff to show that you got it. So congratulations to you.
Yeah, congratulations. And remember, we're gonna be doing this contest a couple times a year. So remember, you can still enter the next one. So email us your questions. And besides, we have a show to do, so you need to email us your questions.
Yes.
But anyways, this has been a very, very fun Nintendo Pow Block today. Man, what a good show. Sometimes I feel good about shows, and then other shows I just feel great about. This is one of those great shows. I feel like this is a great show. So remember to follow us on all the social media hubs. Like I said earlier, NGR Pow Block on Twitter, Nintendo Pow Block on Instagram, youtube.com/NGR Radio. Please come subscribe. Download our family of shows, Arsenal X, Nerds Gone Platinum, NGR Radio, World 101 Podcast, and of course, Nintendo Pow Block. If you're listening to us on iTunes, please rate us and leave us a comment. We'd appreciate it. It helps for discoverability, and leave us some 5 stars or 4 stars, but preferably 5 stars. Yeah, Ed, where can we find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at ThatRetroCode, and you can follow me on SoundCloud with my podcast, Optional Opinion, which is also on iTunes and Google Play and other podcast apps. Yeah, guys, give it a listen. Got a lot of great episodes coming up. I do apologize for my tardiness about the Butcher Game Awards episode that will be up. But I really want you guys to check out some of the new episodes that will be coming. One of them is going to be talking about entitled gamers, and a future one is going to be if Final Fantasy VII failed, would Chrono Trigger still be influential? So do check out those episodes when they drop.
Yeah. You can find me at CoreyandHD on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on various shows across the NGR Radio platform. Again, please come subscribe. Our next goal is 500 subs. We get some cool YouTube things that will make everything better for you if we reach that 500 sub mark. So just, even if you're an audio listener, just click the subscribe button. Much appreciated.
Yes.
But yeah, this has been Nintendo Pow Block. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, we love you.
Bye, everybody. Woohoo!